Hey guys, and welcome to the channel. As always, it's good to see you. So the game that we're going to be looking at today and starting is Mount and Blade Bannerlord 2, the second game of the Mount and Blade series. We're going to be starting episode 1, part 1 of our walkthrough playthrough for our brand new campaign that we're going to be doing. Just quickly, if you've never played a Mount and Blade game before, here's a quick rundown of what it's about. So it's a sandbox RPG, and it's pretty much limitless. You can do more or less whatever you want. If you want to roleplay as a merchant, you can. If you want to be a bandit, or you can join one of the 6 major factions of the game, be a knight or a mercenary. You can pretty much take whichever route you want from the beginning. You don't have to wait. The whole map layout is pretty much looking at you in third person, riding around or walking around, but you do enter all of the cities, castles and villages that are on the map displayed. And in these places you can take parts in arena tournaments, you can visit the markets, trade, you can even take down gangs that are in the cities causing trouble. You can visit the prisons, you can even meet certain people, get married and have children, so it really is quite limitless. The idea is that you progress through the game and you can find yourself on the battlefield or besieging a settlement, and there can be thousands, and I literally mean there can be thousands of troops present in the field of battle. There can be some really messy and chaotic battles. I've not played this one that much. My favourite was Mount and Blade 1. I really have sunk so many hours into that game. It's just absolutely amazing. If you haven't played it before, I honestly suggest that you do and give it a check, because the series is just fantastic, and I can only imagine how good Bannerlord is going to be, considering how old and how good the first one was. Obviously, the developing team is constantly on this one. They're constantly releasing new updates and expanding the content, even though there is already so much that you can do. It's just a brilliant game. It's also got a massive modding community, so even if you don't like the vanilla version, which is a fantasy which kind of has like the Roman Empire, the Nords based in it, so it really just kind of has a bit of everything. But you can play with mods. You can do like a Lord of the Rings version, a Game of Thrones version, and I've even seen that somebody did a Star Wars version before. So you can do whichever kind of playthrough you want. There's such a big community for the modding on this. It's fantastic. But yeah, the ultimate goal is to either build a kingdom for yourself or help an existing kingdom to kind of take over that. Again, you don't have to. That's just kind of like the vanilla goal of the game. You can do whatever you want. You could play this game for weeks and weeks and weeks. You could let one kingdom build up, and then you could go and join another one and let that one take over the other one. The map is yours to play with. All the kingdoms are yours to play with. You can literally do whatever you want with it. That being said, so we're going to start a brand new campaign. I'll explain more about the game as we go along. But if you like this episode, then you can check out the game below. It will be in the description, and that will take you either to the website or the Steam page where you can check out for yourself. So yeah, we're going to begin our campaign and start our journey through the kingdom of Calradia. I hope you enjoy. Let's go. So as I mentioned before, guys, there's 6 main factions within the game. So now the first thing we do before we start creating a character is pick our character's culture. So we have the 6 major factions, which are the Valandians, the Sturgians, the Empire, the Azerai, the Khuzaits, and the Britanians. Each have their different perks, and obviously each are in the different sections of the map. So if we look at the Valandians, these guys give you the upgrade of 20% more XP to troops from battles, which is a massive bonus that will really put you ahead of the game compared to all the other factions. The Valandians, I think, they're on the far left side of the map. They're kind of like a mix between Saxon and Viking-esque people. Next we have the Sturgians. They're like the Nords of the north, so they live in the snowy regions of the north of the map. Their bonus is 20% less speed penalty from snow, which is obviously helpful considering the environments that you'll always be fighting in if you're with that faction. Next one, we've got the Empire. It's kind of like the Roman Empire. They have 3 main factions in the middle of the map. They're quite big. Their bonus is 20% construction speed bonus to town projects, wall repairs and siege engines. The siege engine ones is massive, because if you're besieging a castle, it means that you can get your siege engines up quicker than the defenders. You can also break through the castle defences first. Again, we'll have a look at that as we get to it. Not much I know about it, so hopefully we can delve more into that when we get there. Next is the Azerai. They're obviously the Arabs and the Middle Easterners that you've got down at the south of the map. They live in the deserts. They're quite nomadic. Their bonus is that caravans are 30% cheaper to build, and they have a 10% less trade penalty. So if you start with that and your goal is to become a merchant, then it'll be easier to make money because there'll be less of a penalty, and things will be cheaper to build that will make you money. Next we have the Crusades. They're the horsemen of the world. They live on the far right hand side of the map in the sort of mountainy area. Their bonus is obviously 10% extra speed for horsemen on the campaign map, which is pretty useful if you want an army of just cavalry. So if you don't want to have infantry and archers, but you just want to have cavalry, then that's a massive one. That will really give you an advantage. You can be a lot faster and be a lot more tactical with your movements around the map. And last but not least, we have the Battanians. Now these are like your Germanic barbarians. They live in the foresty mountain areas of the western side of the map, so very close to the Valandians. And their bonus is forests give 10% less speed penalties to parties, which again is massive because a lot of the map in the centre is obviously covered by forest. So that means that they can be a lot faster in those sorts of environments. I think today we're going to start with the Valandians. It's the first one on the list, and because the 20% more upgrade XP to troops from battles is a massive bonus, it will really help us out in the beginnings of the game. So we're going to go with these guys. And now we can have a look at our character customization. Now there are a plethora of choices that you can go through to create your own character. You can literally adapt whatever you want, even to the best part, which is the voice.
Former shield wall!
So you have multiple voices that you can pick through, and not only that, but you can change the pitch of the voices too. So if you want it to be really deep, you go with that. If you want it to be really high, it sounds like that, which is just a little bit ridiculous.
Onward!
I mean, come on.
Yay! Oh no! Advance!
One day we might have to do a playthrough where we have that as our main character's voice. That'd be brilliant. Today I think we'll go for quite a quite a deep, strong voice. Skin colour, not really fussed about. Height, I think, does make a difference because you do have a hitbox, and the shields that you use won't change size. They'll have a set size, and it doesn't matter how big or small you are. The shield will always be the same size. So if you're really tall, you have a high hitbox. If you're really small, you have a small hitbox. But then again, I think if you're really small, you're going to be slower. If you're really tall, I think you're going to be faster. So we're going to make our character quite tall because it's quite helpful to be able to be faster than your enemies. With all these factors, I'm not going to look too much into these because I could spend hours here changing every little feature. So we'll hit a random. Where is it? I know there is one. There we go. We'll just randomize the face of it. Yeah, something like that. That's good. That's all right. I mean, look, you can even change your teeth type. I mean, come on. That's just ridiculous. You can literally change whatever you want. Hair, that's quite a big one. You've got so many options, and the best part is you have hundreds of options of beards, even down to some really bushy Viking-esque beards, which is just fantastic. I mean, look at that. Got a proper Ragnar Lothbrok style there. We'll go with oh, I don't know, it's tough. We'll go with something like that, I think. Something nice, nice and clean, but still a bit of manliness to it. Hair, we'll go. Oh no. I mean, yeah, it's definitely a look. Yeah, we'll go with something like that for now. Yeah, see, it looks alright. Not too bad, not too shabby. Right, so the next and the really important thing is you choose your family and your background. So this is what's going to define how you start the game. This will give you your starting points for your main skill sets and your sub skill sets. So like archery and one-handedness, two-handedness, or riding, tactics, leadership, and so on. There's so many. So yeah, the first thing we'll do is choose which family we're born into. So we could go for the top, which is a Baron's Retainers. That's going to give us probably the best attributes, and mercenaries might give us the worst. But honestly, that's kind of a matter of opinion and what you want to do. Because if you want to go into roguery and have good skill in crossbow, then that's perfect. But if you want riding and polearm skills, then a Baron's Retainers is also perfect. So we're going to have a look through these. We've got urban merchants, yeomen, blacksmiths, and hunters. Now I think to begin with, we want to get some good skills in. trade, charm, riding polearm, smithing two-handed. So I think we're going to want something to do with the bow and scouting initially. We'll probably go for hunters, just because we want that scouting skill. And we don't want to make it too easy for ourselves. So next we got as a child. So as a child we were noted for our leadership skills, brawn, attention to detail, aptitude for numbers, way with people, or skill with horses. All of these obviously have very different abilities that they're going to give us. So that will give us a 1 point in two-handedness and throwing, which is again very useful, but we'd have to then use those points. Engineering and trade. Engineering would be really good, but I don't think we'll be needing it for quite a long time. We're not going to be starting off by building anything, so we won't be able to own anything straight away. So I don't think that's a good way to go unless we want the trade, in which case it could be very useful. But we've also got to look at focus point in intelligence, because these are the hard ones to get points for. These take a long time to build up. So we've got our way with people, which is charm and leadership. Now leadership will help us build a party and maintain it, also reduce the cost of our troops and their morale, keep the morale high. We've got skill horses, which give us riding and medicine. Again, that's really useful. For now, I think we're going to go with attention to detail, get our athletics and bow, make sure we're nice and fast, but give us some bow skill too. So in our adolescence, like all village children, you helped out in the fields. You also herded the sheep, worked in the village smithy, repaired projects, gathered herbs in the wild, hunted small game, and sold produce at the market. Again, these give you an idea of what they're going to give you. Obviously, sold produce at the market is going to be trade and charm. Obviously, if you upgrade the trade skill, then you're going to get less of a penalty to when you buy and sell things. Charm is going to help how you deal with certain characters in the game, and there are a lot of characters within the game. Obviously, each skill tree will have other perks and benefits down them as you go along. Hunted small game, so that's going to give us another point in bow and tactics. You've got medicine, scouting, smithing and engineering. Again, I think for now we just want to stay away from this. It's not going to be too helpful, although the intelligence probably would be, but we're going to stay away from that for now. So we've got two-handed and smithy, athletics and throwing. So we're going to go with bow and tactics for now. So I want to pick one skill and kind of go with that, which is going to be the bow and tactics. Bow, tactics and scouting is what we're going to try and aim for. So next, as a youngster, war was never too far away. You trained with the cavalry. It's going to give us a point in riding and polearm. Quite useful, very useful to have a good riding skill. You want to be mounted ideally if you can. It's always better than to be on the ground. Stood guard with the garrison, crossbow and engineering, rode with the scouts, riding and bow. So we're probably going to go for that because it was riding and bow, as well as a skill point in endurance, which is quite useful for us. But then we could also look at upgrading our one-handedness because we're not going to be using a bow all the time. Throwing and one-handedness, roguery and throwing. So yes, for now we're going to go with train with the infantry, give ourselves a nice melee option. And before you set out for a life adventure, your biggest achievement was you defeated an enemy in battle. So this is quite important because it will decide how much renown you start off with. I think it can even, so you can get skill points like mercy, generosity and honor. So these can affect how other characters in the game view you. If you've got 1 point to mercy, generosity and honor, then they can be nicer to you and give you different options for quests and things. I don't think many of the others give you points in that. That gives you points of valor, points in calculating. So as you can see, calculating doesn't come up on here. That will just come up as your character profile. So that's how you will be viewed by other people. So we've got enough points in, well, we've got a couple of points in bow, crossbow and one-handedness. So now we want to look at getting some intelligence skills and social skills, like tactics, leadership. So we don't want to do that for now. Trade and smithing, again, point in trade could be useful. Athletics and roguery, treat people well. So probably going to go with you saved your village from a flood. This will give us a calculating, cunning, tactics and leadership. So it will help us to be able to maintain a party and be able to lead it more effectively. So we're going to go with that. And I think this is the last bit. So like many families in Cavalry, your life was upended by war. Your home was ravaged by the passage of army after army. Eventually you sold your property and set off with your father, mother, brother and your 2 younger siblings to a new town you heard was safer. but you did not make it. Along the way, the inn in which you were staying was attacked by raiders. Your parents were slain and your 2 youngest siblings seized, but you and your brothers survived because... Now we've got multiple options here again. So we've got because me and him subdued a raider. This will give us a point in one-handed and athletics. Very, very useful. So this is going to be our final points. So if we want to add something here, if we add a bow and tactics, that would be very useful. They get me up to 3 and 3 there, which means that these also mean that you learn these skills quicker. So with roguery, because I've got no skill points in that, that means I'll learn it very slowly. So anything I do that relates to the roguery skills tree, I'm not going to get as many points to it as I would with tactics, for example, because I'd have 3 in it. You rode off on a fast horse, again, because that would give me a point in riding. The more I ride on a horse, the more I attack and kill people on a horse, the more skill points I'll get for it compared to anything else, like throwing. So if I kill an enemy with throwing, I won't get nearly as much XP for it as I would if I killed somebody while riding a horse. So again, that's a very good one, riding and scouting. You trick the raiders, roguery and tactics, leadership and charm. So we're probably going to go with this one, give us that final point in bow and tactics, be very useful for us. We're going to have very good control, which is quite useful. So yeah, now we get to pick our name, and after this we will start into the actual world. So here you can view all of the upgrades you've picked. So if you think you've picked the wrong one, or you just want to change it because, say, I picked focus point and scouting and crossbow, but then I changed my mind halfway through and I wanted to go for one-handedness and leadership, I can go back and change that if I wanted, or even change my culture, which doesn't affect what happens here. They're all independent anyway. They'll all give you the same options every time. It's just what you decide to go with. So now we'll pick our name. So we could just keep randomizing it until we find one that you like, or we could just type in our own one. Let's keep it in the like sort of theme of the game. So we'll pick a random name that gives us. Try and pick something that fits in. Howlguard's quite a strong name. Dalager, Perrin, Lorgand, Galric, Elfert, Brun, Martion. Oh come on, it's got to be a good one. Raffard. There we go. We'll go with that. Our name is Raffard. Yeah. So here we go, guys. This is the start of our brand new campaign. So we've made our character, now we're in. This is our brother, Nogand, and we're just going to go from here. Right. Brother, it's been 3 days now, we've been tracking those bastards. I think we're getting close. We need to think about what happens when we catch them. How are we going to rescue Varric and Alder? Are we up for a fight? Now Varric and Alder are our 2 younger siblings. I think they're both, or one's like a brother, one's a sister, don't know. I do know the names do vary depending on which faction you choose. So for us it's Varric and Alder, whereas if you start this and you play as the Azrai, it could be something very, very different to that. This looks like an old training field for the legions. Perhaps we can spare some time and brush up on our skills. The practice could come in handy when we catch up with the raiders. So yeah, we're going to run with a tutorial, and we can just show you what it's like playing the actual game. So first off, if you don't like being in third person, you prefer being in first person, you can press R, and that will give you a first person view. I personally prefer playing in third person. So we'll start off, we'll use the crossbow. I just need to move up to the top position here and take our shots. So the crossbow is very simple to use, just takes a little while to reload, but it does do a lot of damage. It's very, very accurate, it's quite hard to miss. And a huge benefit is you can hold it in for a long time without it affecting the accuracy of the weapon. Whereas a bow and throwing items, which I'll show you in a moment, that's the opposite is said. Oh, I missed. Oh dear. That is not a good start, is it? Last pot. Lovely. 34 seconds. Yeah. Yeah, so now we have the bow. This does less damage, but it does more piercing damage. The actual effects of the bow is quite realistic, so you do have to be quite careful how you aim. The arrows can fly about. Oh, this is really not going well. Yeah, sorry, if you hold shift you can zoom in as well. Didn't mention that earlier. Which can make hitting your targets a little bit easier. If you hold the bow for too long, the reticle expands and your arrow becomes really inaccurate. And it will just start flying in all sorts of directions. I've had it before where it's hit the ground like a foot in front of me, and I was aiming up quite high up. But yeah, the bow's nice and simple to use, very quick to reload. Probably get the most ammo with a bow, but again doesn't do as much damage as a crossbow, and also has the chance of being quite inaccurate if you hold it for too long. Now throwing's only really good for short range, but it does do a lot of damage. Like it does a massive damage. You can take out a target in one hit if you get him in the head with this. It's happened to me a lot of times. It's very, very frustrating. But yeah, they drop down quite quickly, so you've got to aim up quite higher than your target at short ranges. So yeah, maybe quite a bit higher than the target for it to actually hit it. So I could hit a target at long range, like one's over there, but I'd have to aim up very high, and there's a chance that it's going to be very inaccurate. Oh, come on. This is not a good example. Yeah, again being said, the longer you hold it, there we go, beautiful. The longer you hold it, the more inaccurate it becomes. So if we just hold this, aim over there. See how the rest will just expands and expands? It means that it has a higher chance of just going in a completely random direction like this. See that? It literally just curves off to the side. So you can't hold them for very long. Right, we'll head over to the melee combat area. I think it should be, yeah, so sword and shield first. Nice and simple. No. So yeah, if you aim the mouse to the left and click left, you'll block left. Same with right, same with up, and same with down. So as it will probably show you in a moment. Yeah, it wants me to block from left because he's swinging from left. Same again for the right. Same from up, and same with down. Now he wants me to attack from the left, attack from the right, swing up, and attack from down. Down with the sword is usually a thrust. Not all weapons have that option, only some of them do. So now I think he wants us to train with a sword. Yeah, defending yourself with a sword is a lot harder. Obviously, without the shield, you have to be a lot quicker. And yeah, you don't provide yourself with that much cover. So it's a lot easier for your enemy to attack you. It's the wrong side. Right, up, and down. Lovely. So we'll go over to the cavalry bit. We'll show you some horse archery, and then we'll be done with that, I think. Then we'll go off and carry on with our campaign, and we can get into different skills later on as well. So we'll grab the bow and arrow, jump on the horse, and get started. So horse archery is very different, as that shows you right there what just happened. It's a lot harder. The faster you move, the more inaccurate you are. So you have to you don't have to, I find it's a lot easier that you just slow down a little bit as you get close to your target. Don't try not to come to a full stop. If you do come to a full stop, it just means you'll be very accurate. But you just have to slow down a little bit, or go really close to your target. But yeah, it's very, very difficult. You're very, very inaccurate when trying to fire on horseback. Obviously, as you progress your skills, it does become a lot easier. The reticle will be a lot more inwards, and it will take a longer time to actually expand. But it can be very difficult. It's also a lot easier to hit your own troops when you practice horse archery on the field. A lot easier. A lot more of the time the arrows will fly off in random directions. But if you can master this skill, yeah, you can do some serious damage to your opponents. Very, very, very good skill to have. But of course, it's also very difficult. But as you can see, my arrows are kind of hitting the sides, not really going towards the middle. That one was a complete miss. I don't know if that will count. It will. So yeah, as you can see there, I came to more or less what was a full stop, and I had complete accuracy. So as I'll show you there, I had what I had when I was standing up with the bow over there, practicing there. So That's all we've got to do for that. 102 seconds. Could be a lot better, but take it for now. Let me know down below if you've beat any of my times. I'll be happy to see it. It'd be interesting. But yeah, so we're going to carry on. We're going to leave the training arena. I am ready to go. So you can either talk to him and do that, or you can hold down tab, which will also bring you out. We can leave now. Brother, before we do anything else, we're low on food. There's a village north of here where we can buy provisions and find some help. You're a better rider than I am, so I'll let you lead the way. So this is the navigation map. As we can see, refugees. Oh, how weird. Yeah, the map is absolutely enormous. There is hundreds of villages, hundreds of cities and settlements that you can visit. There is all sorts going on constantly. All sorts of very different places. And obviously depending on where you are, so if we fought, for example, over here we'd be in foresty Greenlands. If we fought down here, the map would be mostly desert. Deserts, valleys, and again mountains. Up here it'd be snowy, over here it would just kind of be deserty mountains again. Anywhere you go is a completely different terrain. If you fight by water, the water will be in the background. You can't fight on seas, but you can fight over rivers. And you can even have bridge battles in this. So depending on your field of battle, as long as you get to learn them quite well, you can use the tactics to your advantage. Yeah, obviously we have all these different types of settlements as well. If you fight an enemy army or a group of bandits too close to a settlement, you'll probably end up fighting in the actual settlement. If you fight against an enemy faction, then the villagers might help you, whereas if it's a neutral faction, the villagers probably won't help you. The same can't be said for cities though. But yeah, this is the map. It's absolutely enormous. So we're going to start off. He wants us to move to the nearest village of Tavira. We know that because it has this icon, which means it's pinned on our map. So we've entered the settlement. Now we can take a walk around the settlement. We're here, I guess. So we need food, and after that maybe some men to come with us. The headman can probably help us. Let's try and find him. Speak to the headman. Empire peasant. So now I've got to find the headman, who in all honesty could be anywhere. Usually look for somebody who's standing still, like one of these. There we go, headman. I am Meritor, headman of this village. What brings you here? We need help. Some raiders have taken our younger brother and sister captive. We think they may have passed this way. They got your people too. Sorry to hear that. Those bastards have done a bit of killing and looting in these parts as well. We think they've gone north. I reckon there are a few folk around here who will join you in going after them, if you'll pay for their gear. Once you've made your preparations, come and talk to me again. I may have a task for you if you are going after the raiders. Okay. Left Alt to see the location of the headman. Okay, I did not know you could do that. That makes things a lot simpler. So yeah, if you hold the left Alt, you can see where they are. Right, now we need to leave, so we've got to hold down the tab button. So now that we've spoken to them, we've unlocked the recruit troops and buy products tab in the village area. So if we go recruit troops, we can hire headman's troops. Normally it won't be troops like this, so we would not normally be able to get cavalry. It would just be, because we're in the Empire, it would usually be an Empire recruit. So it would just be a standard, almost like a peasant with just a spear or something along those lines. You can either click them individually or just click recruit all. And then you just press done. So then now with us, buying food, so we've got to go buy products. Grain, that's it, we've got to select those grains. Now our men have something to eat. We have finished preparations. Let's talk to the headman again. He said he may have a task for us. So we click up here now because we've spoken to him in the village, so we don't have to actually walk around it again. We can just do it the quick way, take the shortcut. But it's going to make us go and visit him anyway, so we'll be back in the village. Glad to see you found what you needed. Now about that matter I mentioned earlier. There's this wandering doctor who comes through here from time to time named Name of Taxius. Treats people for free. We're quite fond of him. Well, we last saw him a few days ago. He was carrying around some sort of chest, which he was very mysterious about. He was on some sort of quest, he said. They wouldn't tell us more. He set off on the road just a few hours before the raiders come through here. Well, he's not really a worldly type, just the sort of fellow who stumbled into a trap and let himself be captured. We're worried about him. If you can keep an eye out for him, this Taxius, we'd be very grateful. Maybe if he's alive and well, he'll tell you a little bit more about his quest. Okay, awesome. Right, so we're done with that. We're going to leave the village again. I think, yeah, we need to leave the full village now, so we've got to hunt down each of these parties and defeat them in combat. So we'll go ahead and do that now. So this is the first of our raider parties, we're going to attack them. So this will start up the simulation field.
Soldiers!
Now we've got our brother, for some reason he's in the infantry tab, which means if we press 1 on the keyboard we can select our infantry. If we press 3 we can select our cavalry, and you can tell this because they now have green circles around their banner. Now we have multiple options to position them. We can give them formation types, or we can just set them to charge the enemy. And because we've got mounted troops, we don't need to worry too much about our enemy. We can just set them to charge, and they should be able to defeat them quite well. I don't have the best weapon for this, it's quite short range. We can also send our brother in to fight as well, so he can now charge. Don't know where the rest of my cavalry's gone. Ah, there they are. So yeah, he's been subdued. As you can see, it's a lot harder for these guys to get a hit on us because we're a lot faster, moving around a lot quicker than they are. Once their morale drops too low, they will start to flee the field of battle. I will say, if you're on horseback and you go too slow, they will defeat you a lot quicker. This is not good. This is not where you want to be. You don't want to get dismounted, surrounded by your enemies. Not a good start. But yeah, so now we've won the battle, so he's now running away. We can choose to just end it there, or we can kill him and make sure that he doesn't come back and annoy us later on. Now annoyingly my horse did get killed because I was not doing that properly. I'm hoping these guys will take him down. When you start off and start attacking things like looters, it's just always better to have infantry rather than cavalry. Especially low grade cavalry like these guys. It is always a lot better to just have some infantry and some archers. But yeah, we'll end the battle there, so we can now see if any of our troops upgraded during that. They would come up here and say which ones have. These would be if any of our troops were killed, any of our troops were injured, or if any of our troops ran away. The same can be said for all of these guys. So we killed 2 of them and we injured 4. So the 4 injured ones we can usually take as prisoners. Yeah. So we can take them as prisoners. If they had any prisoners of themselves, we could recruit them into our party. But they didn't, so we can't do that. And this is the loot that we'll gather from them. Not a whole lot, but if we have a look, some of them might be a little bit better. See, that's got better body armor, so you know what, I will put that on. Even though that has 1 leg armor, 1 arm armor, they're going to be hitting us in our body anyway. So that's what we want to protect more. So there we go, we've got a bit of armor from that. We'll go and take these guys on as well. And we'll change it up. So we'll, if we press F5 after selecting them, we can get them all to dismount. We'll do the same with him. And we'll fight this battle in a different way. So we'll get everyone mounted, sorry, not mounted, grouped up here. All as infantry. They're quite spaced out, so we'll change that.
Side by side.
I don't know if we can because they're cavalry. No, we can't. Because they're cavalry, they will be spaced out quite evenly. When like this, he's charged forward, but it's probably going to go down. You never want to be on your own when facing an enemy. I think the only man we lost actually was my brother. Oh no, he's there. No, it was just one of those horsemen. So yeah, I think he got knocked out, did he? Oh no. He died.
We won!
1 died, 1 injured. Yeah, so we've lost our first troop, but unfortunately, if we left him mounted, it probably wouldn't have happened, but I just thought I'd show you guys what you can do with your cavalry troops as well. So as you progress through the game, you can get some really powerful cavalry troops, like heavy cavalry troops. And if you're besieging a settlement, they obviously won't have their horses, but they can still be very useful as infantry. Now we'll just take down this last group. We'll just send them in, send them forward.
Cut them down!
So we don't have to select the infantry and cavalry individually, we can just select all. If we press
Warriors!
0, we select everyone. 1, 2 and 3 are usually your basic ones you'll assign everyone to, so you'll have infantry as 1, archers 2 and cavalry as 3. If you have horse archers, they'll go as 4 usually. Now because my horse died in the last battle, not died but got injured, he's now a lame horse, which means he's incredibly slow because he's got an injury. So it's like it's not going too well for him right now. One thing I hate the most about looters is they can do a lot of damage to you from a distance because they throw stones. And in some cases, yeah, this can prove quite fatal. So it's only doing about -5, -7, but that adds up, especially when you have a lot of them firing at you. And especially because I'm moving so incredibly slowly. Now we want to try and get that guy on the right, not you. A bit close. Right, awesome. He's done for. As you can see, we also got a point in riding and polearm for having taken him down. Hopefully we can get this guy as well. But he's now retreating, so he won't fight back no matter what. Even if we stood in front of him, he won't hit us back now. His morale's too low and he's just trying to escape. So if we hold down left alt, I think because the enemy group is too small now, we can't see where they're at, but sometimes you can see the enemy symbol, so you can go in the direction that they're in. Yeah, so as we can see, one of them escaped, so we should be able to see him on the map next. We've taken one more prisoner. We've got some more clothes that we can take. Oh, we do want to put those on because we actually haven't got any on already. That's why it's not giving us a green or a red symbol. You rescue several prisoners that the raiders have been dragging along. They look parched and exhausted. You give them a bit of water and bread, and after a short while one of them staggers to his feet and comes over to you. Okay. Taxius, I don't know who you are, but I'm in your debt. These brigands would have marched us to our deaths. My name is Taxius. I'm a doctor by trade. I was on, well, a bit of a quest, but now I'm thinking I'm not really made for this kind of thing. I was with a caravan and they just came out of the bush. We were surrounded and outnumbered, so we gave up. I figured they'd keep us alive, if just for ransom, but then they started flogging us along at top speed without any water, and I was just about ready to drop. I could feel the signs of heat stroke creeping up and I told them, but they just flogged me more. If your group hadn't come along, maybe I would. Maybe I have a way to thank you properly. We're looking for 2 children captured by the raiders, can you tell us anything? I'm afraid I haven't seen any children, but after our caravan was attacked, the chief of the raiders, the one they call Radagos, took and rode off with our more valuable belongings, including a chest that I had. He seemed to be controlling more than one band raiding around this area. If this lot has your kin, then I think he'd be the one to know. And since I have nothing of value left to repay your help, I'll tell you this. If you do catch up with and defeat that ruffian, you may be able to recover my chest. It contains a valuable ornament which I was told could be of great value if you knew where to sell it. I was trying to find out more about it, but as I say, I've had all my urge for travelling flogged out of me. Right now I don't think I'd venture more than 20 paces from a well as long as I live. We'll keep that in mind. It doesn't look like much, and I suspect this lot would give it away for a few coins. But I got it from a mercenary whom I treated once and saw it was related to Neretz's folly. I don't know what that means, except that Neretz's was of course the emperor who died in a battle some years back. Maybe you can find out its true value. Thanks again for saving me, I hope I'll pass across again. Awesome. So now we've revealed the location of a hideout. Now hideout battles are completely different to what we've just done there, field battles. It's a completely different environment. I think we also got a skill point during that. Yes, we did. So if we have a look at our character here. Whoa. Okay, our brother's got a lot of skill points. I don't know if that's supposed to be like that. Have a look at that in a minute. So yeah, we've got a skill point in bow and tactics, but that's mostly because of how we started and the attributes we picked before our character was created. So for the bow we've got these two. We can pick one of these two because we've unlocked 30 points in it. So we've got bow control and dead aim. Bow control reduces the accuracy penalty when moving by 30%, and also all troops with bows in our formation gain 5% damage. Dead aim increases the amount of damage we do with a headshot, and bow equipped troops in our formation gain 20% archery skill, which means that we just slightly better all round with their archery. We're going to go with bow control because we want that little bit of extra damage from movement, or sorry, accuracy from movement, and we want our troops to have just that extra little bit of damage. Now with tactics we've got the same thing, so we'll have a look at this. We have type formations or loose formations. In type formations, our infantry will deal 10% more damage to cavalry during simulations, and our troops will receive 25% less morale penalty when they take casualties. So it means our army will be less likely to break and run away. Whereas in loose formations, our infantry will suffer 10% less damage from ranged troops, and our troops will receive 25% less morale penalty when losing casualties from these types of formations. Sorry, I didn't realise that. So that one is, we won't receive morale penalties when we lose men in shield wall, square, skein or column formations, whereas this is loose, circle or scatter. So because it's infantry, ideally we're not going to be using loose, circle, scatter formations with infantry. We're going to be using shield wall, square, skein or column formations. Just because, although loose is probably a really useful strategy, we want our men to be in a shield wall instead. Loose is more for archers. You want your archers to be loose because that way they can fire through each other. Whereas infantry, you want them to be close together so that their shields are helping each other. So we're going to go with tight formations for that one. Now we've also got 2 focus points, which focus points we can apply to any one of these individual skills, where not like attribute points which we apply to these, which then cover the whole things. So what we want to probably do is put a focus point into this. Now what that means is that we're going to upgrade this skill quicker. So when we get a kill or hit anyone with a melee weapon, we'll get a little bit more XP because we've added a focus point. See how it says here learning rate times 7. So that just means that we've increased our chances of getting more XP. Now we could also do that for anything else that we choose, but there's no point in just picking something on a trade that we have no points in, unless, of course, we want to start doing that immediately, which we don't, not yet. Also, one other thing, this little green bar here, so that's the maximum amount of levels I can get to, which I don't know what that is showing, but say if it was showing here, I swear they used to have numbers. So if it was here, that would be level 25, so up there would be 25. If that green bar came to here, we'd only be allowed to get to level 25, we would not be allowed to get further unless we put a focus point in, or we upgraded our social skills. Then that bar would move up a little bit. So the same here, so for our bow the bar is really high, so we can get all of these perks essentially up to here, so we won't be able to get those unless we put another skill point in. We've got a quite high learning rate for bow, so we probably won't put any more points into that. I'll have a look at doing maybe riding, so we can increase how we fight on horseback, and the types of horses that we can also ride. So we're going to put a skill point into them, and that'll be that done. So now we're going to go into a hideout battle. So you'll find hideouts randomly on the map. When you do uncover them, you'll get some XP for your scouting. Now, because this is a tutorial, this is going to be a different kind of hideout attack. Usually you would have to wait until nightfall, but because we're not doing it like that, we just go straight in for it. Now of course you only get to take in a certain number of men, it's usually about 10, but if you increase your skills you can take more. Hideouts are very good opportunities for getting good loot and gaining renown by killing the chieftain and taking the hideout out. It also will help you, it'll increase your friendliness with the local nobles. So just essentially the people that live around the area will like you more because you've taken out a bandit hideout, which means the amount of bandits in the area will reduce. But yeah, there's multiple benefits to taking down hideouts. It's a good way to get some skills and level up some troops. Yeah, you can't take cavalry in, or that you can take cavalry in, they just won't have their horses. But yeah, it's just more or less a normal field battle. The troops will only attack you when you have made yourself noticeable to them. So everyone in the hideout won't just suddenly come like running over to you. They will only do that once they've seen you or once you've hit them. You can distract them as well. You can throw rocks or fire arrows in the areas around them, and then they'll go over to that, meaning you can sneak right up to them before you attack them. So there is a small element of stealth to this, but not massive. It's still just like a normal battle, really. So we've just got our men clearing out the area, really. There's not too many of them. Yeah, sometimes the hideouts will be full of enemies. They can have loads more than what you've got. You might bring 10 men in, they might have 30. Sometimes it might be less than what you've got. Also, the quality of the troops that have completely varies on the hideout you go into. We'll just take this guy out. So we've taken out all of the footmen in the hideout, and now we're going to be faced with the chieftain, which is this guy here. Now, as you'll see in a moment, should come up. So, who's this that comes through my place of business, killing my employees? We heard you took our little brother and sister. Where are they? Good heaven. I'll need a better description than that. Brilliant. My men have harvested dozens of little brats in this region. Quite good hunting grounds. Already sent most of them south to a slave market, I know though. Since your hunt for your kin is fruitless, how about you clear off and save your own lives? Either that, or I force you to lick up all the blood you've spilled here with your tongues. Or you and I could settle this one-on-one. Yeah, so usually when you clear out a hideout, when you've cleared out all the men in the hideout, you'll be faced with a chieftain and his group of bodyguards. Again, his group of bodyguards depends on how many men are in the actual hideout. So he could have 2, 1, or he could have 7 or 8. If you fight him one-on-one and you defeat him, you'll take his men as prisoners, his bodyguard as prisoners, and then that'll be it. You've completed it. You don't have to fight those men. You can either choose to duel him, and he will be quite a formidable enemy, so it might be not in your best interest if you've got some very strong men behind you. Or yeah, you can just send your men to attack, and all his bodyguard will march in, or your bodyguard will march in. But you also have a higher chance of losing your men if you do this. So for now, slavers, I'm not going to duel him because I do have the numbers. It's the better tactical decision to make because I have more men than he does. I'm also injured and don't have a shield. Wow. You see, that's how quickly... Damn. That is how quickly the battle's been changed. He wasn't even trying to hit me, he just managed to clip me. But that one hit wiped me out. So, like I said, if I challenged the leader on my own, because I don't have very good armour, shield, or weapon, it probably would have ended the same way. Because luckily I sent my men into it as well, we still win, and we don't have to retreat. So that's unfortunate, but that's quite funny. Didn't expect that at all. Just absolutely wipe me out. Right, awesome. Well, I recognise defeat when I see it. If I'm going to be your captive, let me introduce myself. I'm Radagos. You haven't cut my throat yet, which was a wise move. I'm sure I can find a way to be worth more to you alive than dead. You better help us get our brother and sister back, or you'll swing from a tree. Oh, you'll need my help, alright, if you want to get them back, alive. That is, see, my boys have some pretty specific instructions about what to do if there is a rescue attempt. Shall we get on the road? Remember, if I drop dead of exhaustion or drown me in some river, that's it for your little dears. I don't expect a cosy palanquin, not a clue what that is, now, but you'd best not make it too hard a trip for me. So yeah, we take his little bodyguards as prisoners. Then we've got 11 out of 13, so we're probably going to go sell them soon. You've come across a chest with an old piece of bronze in it. It's so battered and corroded that it could have been anything from a cup to a crown. This must be the chest Taxius mentioned to you that had something to do with Nereus' folly. Nogund. I was hoping to find more treasure here, but I think business wasn't going too well for Radagos and his gang. I found this strange looking metal piece though. It doesn't look too valuable, but it could be the artifact Taxius was talking about. Maybe we can sell it to one of the noble clans for a hefty price. Alright, then on the road we go. I have a better idea. We would have a better chance if we split up now. I'll take Radagos and go find the slaver market and look for a way to free the children. However, we must be careful not to endanger their lives, as it could be better to just buy them. We need to have our purses full for that though. I'll need to take these men with us. Radagos is a slippery one and I don't want him getting away. So you want me to raise the ransom for the little ones? Indeed, you'll have to find a way to do that. Maybe this bronze thing can help. Taxius said it could be worth a fortune to the right person, if you manage to not get killed. If he's telling the truth, you must be careful. Never reveal that you have it, but try to understand its value and how it can be sold. One more thing. When you are talking to nobles and other people of importance, make sure you present yourself as someone from a distant but distinguished family. You can use our family name if you like, or make up a new one. You have a better chance of obtaining an audience with nobles, and it'll be easier for me to find you by asking around. So now we want to set up our family name, which could be literally anything. So we'll probably call ourselves, we'll give us family name of Scallion. Click to continue. And now we get to pick our banner. This will always be displayed on the shields, armour and over the heads of our units, as well as when we're on the map. It will be on our flag at all times. If we capture any settlements, it will also fly over that. So just think quite carefully about what you want. I don't know if you can change it, in all honesty. I think we're going to go with something like a horse. So we're going to be quite cavalry based. Yeah, something like, oh god, not that. That could be cool. Quite like that. What if we make it quite big? Yeah. You want to change the colour. Oh, they're all nice colours. Black looks quite good though. Black and white. It's always a good contrast, I think. Black and mint. I'm a huge fan. See how it changes the colour of our clothes as well. So we'll go, oh, tough. We'll go with the sort of gold. I like that. We'll go with the gold. Awesome. Tutorial is over. You are now free to explore Cavalry. And on that note, I'm going to end the episode there. We've gone over our time a little bit, but that's because it's the first episode. So I really appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you so much for joining me. Please leave a like, please leave a comment, and give me any feedback on how you think it went and what you want to see in the future. Maybe you want me to take a specific path with my character throughout the campaign. Please let me know. I'd love to hear it. If you had any adventures yourself and want to share it, please do. Please, be active down in the comments below. Subscribe as well so you can keep up with all the content that I'll be releasing on this. Hopefully we'll take this series quite far, and who knows, we might be able to set up our own kingdom, might help another kingdom take over. And we'll just see where it goes. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.